Music, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, and yours truly right here. Interesting articles are now flying all over the internet about this Styx Mr. Roboto thing. And, you know, I've covered it a lot. We kind of know that Styx is either playing it because the fans are asking for it, or the promoters are asking for it, or maybe they're getting tired of their own set list. And, you know, if you want to believe them, you know, Lawrence Gowan said, yeah, you know, I always love the song, and they won't play any of the Dennis ballads because Larry feels uncomfortable with those. But all this stuff going around the internet now was fueled, I think, by that crazy, stupid, big interview that Styx did with Dan Rather. No, I'm done doing the Dan Rather impressions. I'm hoping Dan comes back, though, to do a big interview with another band, and I can then go ahead and make fun of him some more. But at this juncture, what I'd like to just say is there won't be a Styx reunion, and Dennis DeYoung knows this. He knows this because, again, these guys have decided to kind of double down and pretend that Dennis doesn't really exist and that he's just a troublemaker and he's difficult to work with. And why should I care this much about this issue? Because I look at these guys and I'm thinking, okay, so clearly you guys are about money, right? Think this through. If you really couldn't stand Dennis DeYoung and, you know, you needed to put up with him for a few months in order to make a mega payday, like a payday that you guys haven't seen in, I don't know, decades probably. And by the way, you could just tour as the reunited version of Styx. You wouldn't need, you know, Joan Jett or Don Felder or whoever else you've had on these double and triple bills to kind of bail you out, because a lot of times people go, okay, you know, Styx doesn't have Dennis, but, you know, you got REO, or you got Joan Jett, or you got Tesla, who is a major league band who should be getting their own headlining gig, but that's just my opinion. In any event, I'm just thinking to myself, this is an opportunity for the Styx boys over there to say, hey, let's make some money one more time. We could just we could charge a lot more for ticket prices because people will pay to see a reunited version of Styx. But when these guys doubled down, Dennis decided to come out with some truth. And he's been talking truth. This guy, Lafron, whatever his name is, Mitch, I think, up in Canada, did an interview, real chum with buddies with Lawrence Gowan, even admitted during the interview, well, I'm really close to Lawrence Gowan. And Dennis said, okay, we're still going to, you know, talk truth here. I'm sorry to tell you. And it was an uncomfortable interview toward the middle part, toward the end, where Dennis basically throws out all this information that a lot of folks just, and I have trouble on my channel too, when I start talking specifics and truth, and then people come back and say, no, that's not possible. Okay, well, the guy who's like the manager of the band, you know, reached out and told me this, all right? And when it comes to DDY, you know, I've had some interactions with some folks that are kind of close to DDY. So I come at this not because I want to bash JY and Tommy, believe it or not. I thought The Mission was a great album. I know they had a little outside writing assistance, which I think helped things along greatly. I think it was a great idea for a concept album. You know, if we ever go to Mars, it's going to be something that maybe the astronauts are listening to on their way. I think they're going to have, what, 6 to 8 months to hear it, at least one way. That's just a crazy mission. That will be a crazy, out-of-this-world mission. So I give credit for those guys to being visionaries, to seeing that maybe their music will last into the future with that album. But when you put that beside all of the great classic Styx works of art, which Dennis was a part of, you really have to, you know, you have to balance everything. You have to say, hey, Dennis was quite a great contributor to this band. And it's just foolish at this stage that there won't be a Styx reunion for whatever reason. I'm still unclear. Is it just because Tommy Shaw wants to be happy? I mean, is he not happy? Does he not have a great life right now? Would it be that much of a diversion for him to go off with Dennis for 6 to 8 months? Especially when Dennis was the guy who helped him out of his financial straits back in the 1990s. Wow. Okay, I guess I'm just, crying in the wilderness here. See you soon, everybody.